Going out into the off lane and so on and so on. Again, game. If EG doesn't pull it together, doesn't get a win here, their run in D2L ends after coming out of the Western Division, our #1 seed out of the West. Whereas CDEC really took the world by storm with their performance in the Eastern Division. They find themselves at least with some wiggle room, but they definitely want to close this out and make sure they can at least make it to tomorrow, go home, get some sleep, think it over, and bounce back after that really what had to be devastating loss to a VP Polar team, which again is not a bad team by any stretch. It wasn't as if there were a couple of clowns who came in and beat them.
Right.
But they were heavily favored, and rightfully so. So shrugging that off, getting a win against EG will certainly be good for the morale.
Well, we'll see where Universe is going to place this ward. Oh, he just wants to play it safe and places the lane ward to the bottom rune. Okay, very interesting. Doesn't want to give himself some extra vision. On the side there, checking out the supports from CDEC. Let's see if they have any sentries. They do, but this is not exactly a rune or a section that you would sentry, so they're not going to get too lucky with that. The same spot, EG's been sitting in this spot every single time, and I believe they were spotted out twice in a row by LV with the Wolves. If CDEC's been watching, they should know that they're up here, so they should be careful about contesting this top rune. There's a couple things on both sides. Like, obviously, a good start for Seven on this Tidehunter will be amazing. He will play a gigantic role in these fights, but I think that EG is going to have a better time in the laning phase. I know that Lina is better than Storm. It just is. Lina is one of the best. Storm has limited range. He's got to play very, very cautiously because he's going to take a lot of extra harass from this Dragon Slave, which is actually quite low in mana. And actually, Samel decided to go for the early point into the Light Strike array, which I think is a little bit curious. I think it's almost better, almost most of the time, to start out with a Dragon Slave, just to guarantee at least 2 CS and even get a little bit of harassment in. Yeah, I mean, there's a stun, but it doesn't really... I don't know why he did this. I think the Dragon Slave is almost always better, but we'll see if it matters too much. He is still getting these CS.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be level 2 soon as well, so...
Yep, 3 CS there for him, so...
Shouldn't be too much of a problem. It'll be a lot of fun to watch a very experienced mid-Lina player. I mean, there are a lot of mids, and hang on, Universe actually taking a fair amount of damage, as he did catch a couple of bounces on the cask. Up at top, Seven taking some damage as well, so these offlaners going to be under a hell of a lot of harassment. Now, PPD is actually a little bit low, and yeah, Seven going to be able to play a little bit further forward because of it.
And Bowie's going to try to get this connect, but I think he might be too late. Yeah, he's too late with that connect, so they're going to have to think about pulling that in a diagonal way up towards the top left, and the next time the creeps come around. A little bit unfortunate, but they should be able to do it. These are two supports that can easily kind of mess with a Tidehunter who doesn't have that many levels, so I'm sure they'll get that pull, and they'll be fine to get that creep equilibrium back into their favor. Mid lane, maybe it's up to 7 CS. Sumail's got the same, actually, so maybe doing quite a good job here in the early stages of this lane. We'll have to see how it unfolds in just a little bit, though.
And we can see he's handling the lane equilibrium quite well. And maybe force back under his own tower. Like you said, roughly a wash right now. And elsewhere, we can actually see Seven has abandoned that top lane, not liking the way it looked when it pushed out. He's just short of level 2. We'll go ahead and start getting some stacks on. That'll be handy-dandy for maybe to come help him take eventually. And, of course, Lina, a very nice hero for taking stacks as well if and when EG wants to get aboard that train as well. Haste Rune is going to be spotted out by AUI. He's just going to sit on it, at least for the moment.
And maybe he's actually playing this mid matchup very, very well. He's actually winning right now. 14-2 compared to 11-0 for the Lina. It has a little bit of help every time this Howl comes out, and his auto attack damage is actually one of the best for mid solos as an int hero anyway. And he's just doing a good job about trying to, like, look at, he's evading most of these Dragon Slaves, still jumping back in to get these last hits for denies, and he's up to 4 now. Maybe he's playing very, very well in mid right now, I must say.
Haste Rune will be grabbed by Sumail, who grabbed his bottle off the courier just a moment ago. And everything's staying pretty calm. I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot of action early, as Seven is continuing to just do his work here in the jungle. Has found himself a near level 3, continuing to stack this hard camp. And then just clear that medium camp. And again, he and Maybe can fall back and take that camp relatively easily together whenever he feels like it. Already has 1 point into the Kraken shell. After he clears this camp, he probably, it'll be up to him.
Mid Sumail, he's going to get this first blood.
Got him.
Got him with the Haste Rune. Very nice recovery. I do say, though, that 100% does not happen without that Haste Rune, and just was able to capitalize effectively. This will give us some time to catch up in CS because he was straight up losing that lane, but with a nice use of the haste rune. He finds that nice stun, gets some good auto attacks in, and kills him with the Dragon Slave. So well played.
CDEC having to shake that one off, like you said, and that's very much needed by Sumail as well. He is losing the lane just slightly, even after that kill. That's still not a lot of room to catch up. And as mentioned, maybe he's going to have an easy time going into the jungle to help clear that stack here shortly as well. And of course, Tide could just take it if he really just wants to prioritize his own farm. We'll see what direction they want to go. At bottom, CDEC's going to force a rotation, though, as they're going to begin showing some pressure to bottom. It's going to be PPD who TP's down.
Yeah, the really important thing, too, is that Lina got that kill without using her ultimate, so she'll be able to have the mana and have it up and ready to go. Oh, Aoi tried to get that stun off onto maybe before he gets that rune. He's actually got to be careful. I think maybe could have got that kill if he just used the Electric Vortex.
If he had 6, he certainly would have killed him 100%.
He could have at least forced the Hex out of him and just kind of waste his mana and waste his time and just be a little bit annoying, but didn't try to go for it. Maybe wasn't exactly looking at mid and seeing where Sumail was with his position. But yeah, Sumail, he's getting up some mana, getting ready to maybe combo up with that Laguna Blade, but maybe is just a little bit close to 6 as well. Doom comes in for a gank. Aoi's coming in from the side. It is unsuccessful. And kind of an awkward position for them to run in there to try to get that kill on the Storm. They want to really press the issue before he's 6. I understand that, but that was just not the way to do it.
And we're going to see maybe finds himself an illusion rune. The tier 1 at bottom did die in the meantime. This will, however, push the lane quite hard, and PPD happy to take some much needed XP to catch himself up. He's actually almost level 5, not doing too shabby for himself. Fear is just about a level ahead of him, actually, sitting on phase boots. That's it right now, plus a ring of protection, I suppose. Just now, AUI is hitting level 3. Meanwhile, maybe one more creep, and he will be level 6, and that's when he can begin to get aggressive.
There's a chance, too, if Omni just runs up close enough. It's only a level 1 pull right now, so he has to pretty much be on top of him right now. We'll see if he can get in range. They might want to go for this. He has to be really close. That's going to be a kill.
Light Striker Ray. Good attempt. They're taking their time. There's going to be Laguna Blade. Can they? Yes, they are going to end up going 1 for 1. Maybe it's going to end up being killed by AUI, though. Sumail play. Oh, very nice little last use of that Ball Lightning. Hexes, but he did get the bottle charge off. He's got Ball Lightning again. Man, not even going to try to pursue him.
I think that could have been played a little bit crisper from Aoi, if I do say. I think he could have just started off with a Hex immediately, or even just thrown a blind stun and knew that if he didn't do something now, it would give enough time for maybe to get regen from another bottle charge or 2. And he just didn't capitalize quick enough, and nice little extra bottle charging and using, like you mentioned, the last bit of mana to get it out of harm's way and make it a little bit harder for Aoi to actually get that kill.
Gonna be another haste ring for Sumail. Ulti back up in 28 seconds, so he may decide to put that to use with some aggression. It's 2-1. EG currently leads in kills. They traded Sumail for the Omni Knight. Once again, pretty sure that's a favorable exchange for CDEC, though. And yeah, we can see CDEC, because of that last exchange, ekes out one of the biggest leads of the game, every bit of 300 gold. And experience is very close to 0 as well, so it's Squeaker.
Yep, well, this time I think Abachi goes for the Midas. I thought he was going to rush the Vlads, but playing a little bit more greedy than we've seen LV do, and that he's staying in the lane, just wants to farm, feels like he's more of a 1 position than kind of a supporting cast member to help out his support heroes. And it's actually it makes a little bit more sense this game, because it's not like the first game, the line was very innovative and different when LV did it. The second game made a lot of sense when they gave all the farm to Wraith King, but this game it's like, do you really benefit that much from your Omni Knight free farming? Do you really benefit maybe from the Witch Doctor, but not that much? So it makes a little bit more sense to have him play a little bit more greedy.
Well, so far, if there's one big winner we can talk about, it is, of course, Fear. On this Juggernaut, he is, looks like he's got his Morbid Mask. We'll see what he wants to do with it. If he wants to go straight up Mask of Madness, Sumail once again in some trouble. He actually turned around a little bit and was helped up by PPD's Living Arm. There's going to be a Ravage by 7, and Sumail, with that haste, is he going to be able to make it away? Just barely able to scooch himself back up to safety. Back down to the river. 7 being pursued out. Miss on the Light Striker. Ray Fear's right there, though. Has an Omni Slash full spended, but a Purification kept him alive a little bit longer, but not all that long. As 8 minutes come, and EG leads 3-0. Sumail still scurrying around. manages to snag himself yet another rune, so he'll be back up to full health and mana in a blink.
Yeah, the biggest thing about that exchange was that the Ravage was used and weren't able to get anything out of it. At the very least, he did save his Storm, which I think is important. I think this game, if you're CDEC, because of the counters we've talked about for Storm in particular, and being the biggest ones, the Lion Hex and the Doom coming out from Doom, if he can just get a very fast Orchid, it doesn't matter. That is not good, yeah. Did he just run at him?
Yep,
I mean,
just ran at him. Ran in his face and slapped it off.
Yep, well, that's very good, obviously, for CDEC. Omni Knight going for a 3-3 build, kind of interesting. I do think that the Degen Aura is a pretty decent one-hit wonder, in that it starts out from 0 to 10% and then goes up from 8% increments, so it's kind of good at level 1, but that really wants the just purification and extra duration on that repel, and I don't blame him against this team.
Well, CDEC has made up a little bit of ground. Maybe he's on the hunt. He's got a DD with him as well. EG, though, looks like they're in position to defend this. They've got 3 up here. Fierce, Sumail, and Sumail trying to get in a position on the maybe now. AUI trying not to give things away, but looks like maybe we'll be able to make it away completely unscathed. So EG reacting and helping to protect here in mid. Ty getting a little bit of farm priority. Seven's doing all right for himself. He's got his arc boots and another 700 gold, give or take.
Yeah, I'm just still, I just still am personally not a fan of the non-leveling up Blade Fury. I just don't get it. I feel like the low cooldown, especially in a game where there's lots of stuns and things to kind of stop you from moving around. It's just, I don't know, it's just not my personal cup of tea. I understand why they do it. I just don't think it warrants it. Low cooldown is very effective. Good stacks coming out for Tidehunter. This is going to be a quadruple, I believe. So that'll be good farm for him if it does connect. He doesn't get it, actually. Unfortunate for him. So
AUI, super dead. And there's that interaction we were talking about. Just having Omni Knight on the team with Storm Spirit allows him to play so aggressive. Fear came in, used his Mask of Madness. He's going to have to hustle the hell out. Tier 1 at top, relatively untouched, at least for now, but EG may decide to go ahead and try to come up and defend. They do not have a glyph. And yeah, they've smoked too. Actually, Universe is smoked, just couldn't tell right off the bat. Doesn't have a blink. He's actually going Midas. And they're going to try to do maybe, and they got him.
Well, they have Omni Knight right behind. We'll see how much damage they can do.
Oh, there's going to be an Omni Slash purification there, as well as the repel. Beautiful Death Ward. Isn't enough damage, though. Garter is, yeah, able to heal and keep everyone up for now. Fear trying to do what damage he can. They end up dropping 2, at least for the moment, and soon to be 3. EG, oh no, unable to track down maybe. So once again, the Storm a little too elusive.
Middle tower is under
but
attack.
It looks like, yeah, the Tidehunter died in mid at the same time. So EG continuing to pile it on, and Sumail making things happen. Again, a very quiet 4-2 for him. And look at the damage. If he had his ulti, he would just be dead. Instead, has to spend a purification and is still at half health.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he got word that ulti was used from Lena to kill the Tide. That was a big kill. Like, the exchange top, I think it was, I mean, obviously it was in favor of EG, no question about it, but it could have been way worse if maybe died. So at the very least, Omni Knight did kind of sacrifice himself to make sure that he bought enough time for maybe so he could cast the spells after that dude went away. But that mid kill is kind of unexcusable. I didn't see what happened. Maybe he had an invis rune or something, but just running up, casting all your spells onto a Tide shouldn't really happen. So he must have come from fog in a very peculiar manner, or had some kind of rune. But it's gonna get easier once this Lena picks up that Yules. It's really her core item, and he's actually very, very close to it. Just needs about, oh, what, like 900 gold or something like that, and then he'll have it. It'll be very, very easy to get the combos off.
Tier 1 drops, and they're going to continue to rush with this, I do believe. They do have their Ravage, and they want to spend it. They don't want to allow EG any time to really sit back. They're doing a good job of putting this push potential really to good use. Midas was picked up by San Sheng as well. And let's see how well EG can defend this. They're going to slow push it. I think CDEC may be overstaying their welcome here. They may want to get out soon.
I don't think they should do this at all. I think they have a Tide that has a triple stack in his Ancients. They don't have Orchids up yet onto the Storm Spirit. I don't think they need to press this issue at all. And in fact, EG wants to fight as they're... Oh no, it's not a smoke. It's actually just the Nature's Guys coming out from the Treant Protector, who's actually just choosing to level up over the leech seed, which is very peculiar because if you remember a long time ago when they nerfed the leech seed, it used to be a big one-hit wonder.
Oh yeah.
But now it scales a lot more fairly to where you kind of do need it. You kind of do need to level it up. So I find that a little bit curious that he's actually not putting more points into it.
Yep. Instead, going max living armor and 2 points to the Nature's Guide even before that. And EG may be thinking sometime soon about moving into the Roche pit. They have the dire advantage in that regard. Fear, of course, has his healing warp, and more importantly, has the Mask of Madness. It's just so chancy whenever you have the range, the Storm Spirit to contend with, and certainly against the Ravage. And it looks like CDEC might be on the same page. They're going to try to catch EG napping. Let's see, they're going to be north or south. They actually just saw the Dragon Slave, so Sumail could be in trouble. PPD's right behind him. There's the jump. They managed to grab him. Yeah, there's nothing that can be done about that.
Yeah, and that's a very high priority kill, and that's one of the problems about drafting a hero like Lina, very similar to a hero like, Zeus, where they output so much magical damage, but you catch them off when they don't have too many mobility items. It's very, very easy to kill these squishy, high damage dealers, so that is the one fault here of the CG draft.
CDEC takes another tower very easily with that. They certainly do have a lineup that can take towers. Like if you're EG and you make a mistake, even with a Treant Protector who's usually excellent at keeping towers up, against this lineup, they're going to be able to punish you. And speaking of punishment, AUI a little too far out away from home. And he's going to be tracked down. Trying to buy time. Living armor actually keeps him alive. Is that going to be enough? Vortex is used? Yeah, AUI's going to make it out.
Yep, well maybe if you saw where he came from the tower, he totally overshot that ultimate. Like it wasn't very close. He needed to track the movements of Aoi just a little bit more accurately, but sometimes that happens when you go for those long range. Sometimes if a player is playing a little bit unpredictably, you can't always be 100% on it, so.
Meantime, Fear putting some pressure on the tier 1 top. He is going for a diffuser blade.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's not an orb anymore, so it will stack with the lifesteal, and it's obviously good against the Omni Knight. I actually don't. Okay, not leveling up spin is something. I know I've harped on that for longer than probably people want to hear, but also maxing Blade Dance I feel like is definitely not what you want to do, because it is a very big 1-point wonder. It's for sure 0%, 20%. Critical damage always stays the same, and it goes up by 5% each level. I don't know if that necessarily warrants it. I could just be rambling and talking out of my ass, but we'll see. And
somebody out there crunch the numbers. Let us know.
Top tower
I mean, it's only 5% per level. That's all you get is more, more chance. It's not like
it's an extra 1 in 20. Extra 1 in 20 opportunities.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, obviously critting more is good. I just don't know if it warrants all the points. But here we go. Action onto bottom.
Sumail being pursued out. There's the Storm once again. Jumped upon and killed off AUI. Well, they're going to get him eventually. He'll certainly make him work for it, though. And that bought enough time for AUI. How about up at top? There's a Doom onto the Lycan.
But he already ulted.
Yep, doesn't matter. He's going to be able to run away to safety.
Oh, man. EG seems to be crumbling a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Just not playing on point and making some decisions that you wouldn't expect out of this roster.
Yeah, this is what happens. I mean, you still got the 3 left over: PPD, Universe, and Fear. But you know, AUI, it's not like these guys have known each other forever.
Right.
And Sumail, even though he might be a relatively new face, it doesn't matter how long you've known each other. Playing in a competitive environment, high pressure, high stakes, it takes time. It is not something that just happens overnight.
Yep. Well, we'll see if this Diffusal Blade can really do much. The best it will do is when Storm gets really cocky and doesn't really expect the Diffusal, as he jumps in, thinks he's invulnerable with the repel, and then you just, oh no, he's not invulnerable because I just I just Diffusal Bladed your repel. But the thing is he can't play that cocky even without a Diffusal Blade, because the Doom can still go through the repel. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be the real answer to the problem. I think the problem is that you have these heroes that are too easily caught out. So what do you have to do? You have to stand by them. Well, what does that mean? It means you're not farming well enough.
Yep. And your efficiency plummets.
Yeah, exactly.
And so far, honestly, the decisions when maybe has gone in, Doom hasn't even been handy. Like he got caught at top, he still made it away. They're going to jump right on the Sumail. PPD's right beside him. There's going to be an overgrowth, trying to lock it down a little bit. There's going to be a heal from Q, but Q drops immediately. Fear now engaged upon 7. Does have Ravage, he will use it. Got 2. Fear, though, feeling very tanky, and maybe he's just going to have to hustle on out. He's just short of enough money for his Orchid.
Oh, Doom on the Garter as well. There's some nice body blocks. This should be a kill. Nicely played by Universe. And 7 does get Laguna bladed with 10 HP. So they get some nice plays. I gotta say, that goes completely differently if Fear wasn't on point with that ultimate, because what happened? That mini stun actually canceled the heal bomb from the Omni. The Omni was trying to heal, I think it was the Storm, who was on top of 2 heroes, would have killed 1, but he got just stutter step just because of that mini stun from the Omni Slash, and that stopped him. And so that little bit of a fast play from Fear actually, I don't know if that was intentional, but totally swung that team fight.
And definitely, I mean, you can see it still hasn't been a huge lead opened up by either side. We are coming up on 20 minutes, so still relatively early into the game. But it has brought it back essentially to 0 and given EG a bit of a experience lead. That has also secured Sumail that Yule Scepter. Like you were saying, really the core item you need on a core Lina. And really anxious to see him go to work. Really want to see what he's made of.
Pretty late Yules though, unfortunately. Like when you're running core Lina and 1 Lina, 1, you expect to dominate your lane. 2, you get lots of kills. 3, hopefully you're not dying too much, but that seems to be the only problem. Relatively late, still okay. He's got another haste rune under his bottle, so that's great. And this is the biggest thing for EG. They're smoked up. They have a blink on their line. This is, I think, the biggest and most important hero on their draft. And the Wolves are coming out. They don't see anybody because they're smoked, so this might give them a false sense of security.
This is actually a bit overextended for CDEC. They have 2 very important items on the way right now. A Book 3 on the way for Sun Shing and maybe's Orchid. And yep, this is a very important courier. And if they can engage before they get their items, it could be huge. 7 doesn't have his Ravage, but no, he did get the Orchid.
You're right, that could have been so disastrous.
All right, Sumail caught out. He's going to jump back away, and here comes Sun Shing on in. PPD caught in the middle. AUI is going to be silenced down by the Orchid. They want to try to engage. Once again, though, the Overgrowth slows things down. Behind that, Laguna Blade manages to bring down the Omni Knight. Now Gardner's still up and standing. It's a 1-0 so far favoring EG. Heard the Doom. That goes on to Sun Shing. Look at Sumail continuing to just peck away with that right-click damage. Fear still alive, being brought down, though, by all of these creeps. Doesn't matter. Able to track down another in even universe. Manages to limp back home. Big win. And thought those items being dropped off was going to be gigantic. Instead, maybe should get a return kill here. And yes, big Ravage coming out from CDEC. They're going to try to follow it up, but that healing ward is so strong. They just can't damage quickly enough. And 7 is going to end up dead. Just a matter of 2 home. It's going to be Fear. Roche is up. They seize up. And EG manages to just take a gigantic lead off of all of that. After that, biggest lead of the game now in their favor, coming up on 3K and nearly 10,000 experience.
I mean, I think Sumail's getting a little more comfortable. That was a fantastic Yules. He actually totally saved himself with the quick Yules right before that Titan Ravage. And it really paid dividends, so nicely played from him. And yeah, it seems like this is working out a lot better than even they expected. The Diffusal Blade is working out a lot better than I expected as well. Once he jumps in, he just kind of pauses. It's like 5-second hiccup, and then it usually seems to fix itself. So.
Yep.
But yeah, back to the point, I think CDEC needs to stop trying to team fight. If they team fight, they need to start with Ravage. They need to not start with this Storm going in with the Repel. They need to start with Ravage, make sure that the Diffusal Blade coming out from Fear can't come out because he'll just get stunned by the Ravage. Although he can spin and still use a Diffusal, so yeah, that problem still stands. So they just need to stop taking these aggressive fights, just keep farming and looking for, you know, easier pickoffs.
Well, CDEC certainly finds themselves in a position now where they got to pick and choose their fights a little bit more wisely. EG has punched and counter-punched so effectively over the last few minutes that, again, it's not a gigantic lead one way or the other. But we do see CDEC having to go. I mean, I got to give CDEC credit. They haven't backed off. Like, they drafted a lineup that wanted to play aggressive whenever they could, and they really haven't gotten away from it, no matter how well or how poorly it has gone for them. They're going to be moving into the Roche pit now, but this is with EG just in the north of them.
They see them now. They still have another ward there. They're going to go for it. All right, very ballsy play. Got to respect this. And if this works out, it's going to be a nice little jump for them. They might even pick off 1 or 2 if they get some vision from the Remnant. But yeah, members of EG are spreading out, and of course they fight better in numbers as most do, but especially their team. And a very nice pickup. The Storm picks up the Aegis, one of the best Aegis carriers. And I think right now, if you're CDEC, you know, maybe thinking about a Lincoln Spear for maybe. The only problem is there are a number of ways to remove that. So if they're in conjunction with each other, you use the diffusal blade through it, the Lincoln's goes off, and then you're still free to doom. But that needs to be very fast communication on the fly thinking, which is much easier said than done. So.
I'll take a look at the item progression across the side of EG. Would imagine Sumail is now beginning the long trek towards his scepter, but to be honest, at this stage, it's not really that long of a trek. He's about halfway there, assuming that's what he wants. He could be going something like a 4-staff, though, I suppose, but does have a staff of wizardry built up. Usually the point booster is the first thing you see.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's not going for the blink. It's a very, very good item to just go in conjunction with the Yules. You see it all the time on Jakiro, for example, but he does really much value another smoke right back to back.
Yep.
Coming out from CDEC, but most of the members of EG are camped here in mid. They see Fear with the scouting of the wolves. Sumail smoked up actually himself. He will be revealed right now. Ooh. Maybe it's a go on him. I don't know if they know if Aui's not there yet. Oh, they're gonna back off actually.
Yep, taking their time, not wanting to overextend too much. They want to put this Aegis to use, though. That's going to be a wasted smoke and a lot of wasted time. They need to make up their mind what their objective is and then just run at it. They can't do this dancing around stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a weird smoke. That's why I was kind of curious. I was like, whoa, they're smoking again? Yeah, the Aegis. I think this is a team where we just talked about they want to farm out the Aegis. They don't really want to go fight with the Aegis just because of how strong Doom is, how strong Fear is at this moment. With his right click. And actually, like I mentioned, the overgrowths have been pretty effective in these team fights.
They really have.
They have.
For sure. PPD with his overgrowths, and he's so patient. He uses Nature's Guise, hangs around, waits for an opportune moment, and uses it to save a teammate.
Yeah. Which is hard when there's an Necro 3 running around, too.
It really is. And, you know, you have to wonder how much of that comes down to maybe just poor focus firing, poor vision management from CDEC.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's the last of the outer tier towers remaining for EG.
Ooh, wow, they're going high ground. I wonder if they just try to force them back and run away, go back and farm. I feel like that would be the smarter decision.
Nope, they're going for it. Sumail jumped upon. He's going to be able to use himself. There's a Hex on the Navy behind him. Here comes Spear on in. Universe wound up with the boot, got it off. There's going to be the Aegis popped off and an Overgrowth as well. Overgrowth managed to catch the Lycan, and he's cleaned up easily. Maybe bounces out. And do believe your option would have been the best. They should have gotten the hell out of Dodge when the get was good.
Yeah, I don't think they had any business trying to fight there. I think it's better. They can't fight them 5v5. There's no way. They have much better focus fire, especially when they get the Yags on Lina, because not only does it boost the damage and go through repel, it gives you extra range too. So that means you have to play extra far back if you're this Omni Knight. So he's got to be very careful. I think they just need to farm. Like, farm up for a refresher on Tide, take it slow, let Storm Spirit get multiple items, let him get a sheep, and then he can start solo killing heroes. I think they're getting a little bit too eager and think they have to push with this Lycan when they don't need to, really.
Well, Scepter's now in progress for Universe as he's picked up a point booster. And that's such a tremendous item against a Storm Spirit. Like, unbelievably tremendous, as a matter of fact. And I do feel like CDEC does have to have a sense of urgency. I agree with you, you know, the idea of not wanting to overextend and overrush yourself, but at this stage of the game, it's 14-5. They've given up a bit too much. I think they actually do need to feel like their hair's on fire a bit. Obviously EG are winning this right now, but I do think that late game is still very strong with CDEC. Like, if they just, that's what I'm saying. I think if they just play this slow, know that Storm is a beast late game, even if there is multiple counters to him. Tide is a beast with double Ravage. Lycan's great at all stages of the game. Omni is fantastic, even though they are getting some items against him. These are all great heroes in the late game. I think that they think they're an early game team when they can actually still fight very effectively in the late stages of the game. Well, we got EG trying to make something happen with Nature's Guise. Hopefully got the smoking. Yeah, it's not. And we can see maybe in 7 being pinged out. PPD's right below him. And there's going to be the Doom right on the 7. Here comes the rest of EG. Purification keeps him alive for a little while. Now we're going to have BKBs up on both sides. Absolute cluster here in mid, but now we're going to have the Lycan focus fire down as he just kind of hung around that fight and did nothing of value. And maybe trying to be cute, but he has to run. And yeah, actually, Omni just died behind the fight.
Yeah, Fear is so massive, man. He's got his Diffusal. He just purchased a BKB before that top fight. Just purchased a Basher after that, and then now has 2,300 gold. He is so freaking large right now. Did they get a kill on Tide? I think they actually were able to heal him up the whole time.
Yeah, no, they were. It was actually really nicely played by Gardner. He ran with him step by step and bought him enough time. In mid, they're going to be able to catch out maybe, though. And the rich get richer, and this one's beginning to look a little bit ugly, my friend, not going to lie.
Yep, EG are playing this much better, and Fear is just, he's having a game, man. He's doing all the right things. He's getting so much damage. I like his build. I think it's quite effective. The Basher after the Mom, too. Tons of damage, and they're just playing around this little cute combo of Omni Storm very nice. And this Lycan's just getting nothing done in these team fights.
Nope. That last engagement, he literally did nothing. He ran forward, made a scary face, turned around, got kited, and died.
Yeah, and I feel like the contributions of Tide also have just not been there at all. Like,
no.
He, in some of these fights when they've been grouping up early, he had stacks to be taking. He could have been, farming this slow, looking for a better engagement, but that might not be his fault. That just could be the call of the captain. The Rivers talking, saying, let's go, when they should be actually just playing a little more safe and composed. But yeah, 0-4-2 for this Tide. I mean, it's hard to have a great score when you only have 5 kills as a team collectively, but still, you would hope to have him be a little bit more impactful on such a great hero.
Well, I think it comes down to, you said it about as succinctly as anyone could. They have just played around the Omni and the Storm. I mean, we saw maybe have some success early, but now he's 3-2-1. We've seen him die as much as he's gotten kills. He really hasn't been as impactful as he'd like to be. They're having a hard time really focus firing down the primary targets they want to go on, namely Fear and Sumail. And Sumail, it seems like every time they jump him, he gets close to dead, but Yules is there to save him. And it has been rough going, especially now that he has that 4 staff. He's twice as hard to track down.
Fear is so huge, man.
Oh God, yeah.
Just picked up, completed his Abyssal Blade, and he's just going to be. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he ults and they're all in the vicinity, he can kill at least 2 heroes, if not damage 3, almost to the point of death, depending on which ones he gets to. His damage is just going to be ridiculous. So. No blink for him, of course. I do love the blink, but the way that they've been playing as a team doesn't necessarily warrant it at this time. I think they're doing just fine without it. So,
couple of minutes until Roche is up. 1, 2, 3.5, give or take. So CDEC continuing to play this patiently, and it looks like a Hex is on the way for maybe. Needs another 800 gold for his Mystic Staff, so he's in the range of it. About 1,600 gold total away from completing it completely. Problem is, Universe now has his full and complete scepter. That makes life very hard for that Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, the extra duration you get when he's near him, the damage, it's all gravy, but I think just in general, having that Doom on someone, as long as it gets cast, and I don't think they have the firepower to, like, be composed enough to just down one hero. Like, if they see Universe, they all go out onto him. I don't think they can do that. They have Overgrowth to deal with. They have Living Armor to deal with. They have, spells from Sumail and Owie to keep people in place to deal with. Even the Abyssal, there's no way for CDEC to actually focus someone down. And if that's the case, even in five heroes going on one hero, that just says they can't fight. They need to farm, and just dodge all fights.
EG still continues to have this game, as there's the set in terms of pace. Roche coming back up momentarily. They should take an easy Roshan when it is available, barring a Miracle Ravage out of 7. And as you said, I mean, he's 0-4-2, and like you said, we can, you said it as accurately as anyone. Is, you got 5 kills total. It's tough to really look pretty in that scenario. But 7 has just had a hard go of it, man. He has not done well on land here at the D2L, and those struggles have continued into this game. They need more out of him, just flat out.
Even the Timbersaw game last game, when it was an amazing draft. I mean, having Timbersaw against the 4 melee heroes is any Timbersaw's dream. And he was able to get some good plays in there, but nothing really too spectacular, unfortunately. But there we go. Lincoln's picked up for the Storm Spirit.
It actually went pure survivability.
Yes, and again, it's one of those things where it's like necessary, but will it actually fix the problems? I'm not convinced. Like I said, you can still start out. Once he goes in with a repel, you start out by breaking the Lincolns with a Diffusal, and then that just gives Doom free reign. So it kind of, in a sense, I said this before, but it gives him a false sense of security almost, to where he thinks he's invulnerable, thinks he can do crazy stuff, but he actually can't if EG's playing their cards right.
I think I would have rathered a Hex. I really do.
I agree. I think Hex would have been a little bit better too, but it's still not bad. But he needs to be keep in mind that it's not a get out of jail free card. He's not going to be able to just reign free in fights.
Yep.
And even if he is, still, just the linkage, you can say, okay, yeah, I might buy myself a little bit more time, but where's the damage? I don't know where the damage is coming from.
Yep. Lycan, we've seen them kite him immensely throughout these fights. It comes down, they need a good Ravage. They need to be able to keep Q up a little bit longer. He's been dying way too early in the last couple of fights. Gardner's been hanging around the outside, but he hasn't really been impactful in any meaningful way for the most part. I mean, he's had some nice plays keeping people alive with the heal. And, you know, his cast, okay. Ults, okay. They just need to put the whole picture together. And EG moving into the Roche pit now. They're going to take this unbelievably fast.
They really are. Yeah, by the time they actually rotate, they're going to be like, all right, let's go scout with Wolf and see if they're doing it. It'll be dead. Unless he gets back like crazy, but Fear will probably take this up. He has a buyback as well on top of that. He doesn't even need it. Can they kill this with the Wolf? That's the next step.
They hesitated getting the Wolf in there. If they hadn't, they might have been able to.
Well, very, very good for EG. That puts him in an even better position. And I mean, if you're going to have trouble killing the Juggernaut once, how do you do it when he can respawn, spam his Blade Fury button, and then just can't get hit by any spells? It's going to be very, very difficult. There's the Ags upgrade. So no blink for Lina. He did go 4-staff, actually, as you were alluding to. But now has the massive range with the damage through the repel with that Ag Scepter. It's a fantastic pickup.
Well, let's wait and see how EG wants to go about closing this one out, as this one should be getting into some dire territory for CDEC. They are trailing by just about 10,000 gold, and the experience is brutal, but I know Lycan's a great late game, Tide's great late game. I think EG's lineup, their item, it's not just their itemization, it's how well their itemization works the later the game goes. Like, now that we have a Scepter up on the Doom in particular, that just makes Storm feel so ineffective, and he has level death to pop the Lincolns right off the bat too. And I don't know, like, if you're CDEC, how do you even go about engaging from this point on?
Radiant's top
like I said, you just have to try to dodge as best you can and wait for them to come uphill, and maybe that's an opportunity for Tide to get a big Ravage that actually does something, not just stop someone from dying, but actually, like I said, they need to focus someone down. Obviously, it's much more difficult with an Aegis up on the Fear because he's the person you want to focus down, and that's when you get in these really big problems. But Aegis aside, if you can maybe like say, let's kill Doom, it's much easier to do so when you're defending with a Tide rather than in free open space. So they just need to have the Tide be on point with the Ravage, and they all need to have good communication about who they're focusing down.
Yep. BG takes a free tier 1. And ready to push on through to tier 2. And then we can see a little split push from Lycan. That's going to force at least one back. That'll just be AUI. And they're going to let Fear and Sumail finish off the tier 2 top. Easy peasy, limit squeezy. No outer tier towers on either side now, as EG has completely taken this game over. Level 2 defusal for Fear, by the way, upgraded it. Didn't even notice until just now.
Yep, so he's got 8 charges left. He used his last one, I believe, onto the one of the Lycan Necronomicon creeps. Just blows it up immediately. And Lycan is going for a BKB, which he desperately needs, because one of the reasons why Lycan's not that great against Tree is that he's a melee hero that just gets kind of punished by a crappy little ult from Tree. Yep. And just kind of keeps him in place there for a good almost 4 seconds. And he needs that BKB to get out of it and move freely.
Yep, there's the Doom on the maybe. And Universe with that Scepter is just going to run after him. Q could do, you know, he could use Purification all he wants.
Yeah, no, maybe he's not getting out of this one.
Nope. And Storm, again, just completely negated by that one particular item on that one particular hero. And there's going to be a solo Ravage. Actually, it got PPD, but it's irrelevant. It was only meant to catch Sumail, and they didn't even know Peter was there. So well, solo Ravage, they go 1 for 1.
I think that's actually good. Like you could say, well, now they can push without the Ravage up, but Lina has no buyback, so I think it's actually warranted to do that. Now the problem would be if Lina respawns and they just all... Oh, he just actually got enough gold. I was looking at the timer, and he actually did not have buyback, but he must have just got it. This is good, because now they know there's no Tide Ravage. We have 5 heroes. We have Aegis. They could actually take the game right here.
That looks to be the goal. They've got Universe leading the way. No Ravage up. Storm still down for 16 seconds. Doesn't have buyback. Not that I think he would spend it right now anyway. And Fear gets a bit of damage there. Killing off Necro Creep. EG pecking away from distance using Sumail's long-range attack to help clean up the tier 3. VKB's done on Lycan. Universe will have Doom up in 20 seconds. Here comes Navy, but no target to be found. They're going to go ahead and ulti on the Lycan. Fear, though, focused down and loses his Aegis in a hurry. There's the Lincoln's pop. Now Universe is on the run, has Doom up in about 5 seconds. TBD gets off a beautiful overgrowth, and they're going to follow it up with the ulti from Sumail. Maybe still in good shape. Universe, though, has Doom at the ready. Fear actually manages to make it out. Yes, he does make it out. And now the Doom on the maybe. They lose AUI by the time all is said and done. But most importantly, their racks still stand. And Sumail did buy back for that, so yeah, wasn't exactly free either.
Very nice defense here coming out from CDEC, and kind of an, not the best play, I think, from Fear of just kind of running in their balls to the wall. Maybe he just got some unlucky procs with the Omni Slash. I don't know. I don't know what opening he saw that looked so favorable. Normally when you're in that position with an Aegis, you just kind of hit the buildings, force them to go on you because you know it's a bad idea to just go on the Aegis like that. Maybe he knew that his Aegis was like just about to pop or something. I don't know, but it was an awkward go to say the least.
Well, CDEC anyway extends this game.
That was without Tide Ravage too.
Yep.
So that's a very good hold. And actually, if you look at the net worth, Lycan is creeping up on this this Juggernaut now, up to about 21K, only about 3K behind, give or take, this Juggernaut.
Well, when things go as planned, we see how strong CDEC's lineup actually is.
Yeah, I'd be kind of a little bit shaken if I was EG after that. That should have been a free fight.
They're going to rush down this tower. They do have the glyph. They will go ahead and use it. We'll see how patiently CDEC wants to play this. Not Various. They're going to go right back to the high ground. That's 2-3 down easily. BKB used. Maybe goes in. Gets the pull on the AUI. EL's going to be blown up. 7 did get off a beautiful 5-man Ravage. Is the follow-up there, though. AUI ends up dropping. There's an RC slash onto one. He's going to be forced out and caught from behind by Fear's Abyssal. So they managed to bring him down, and Fear is indeed godlike. They take the tier 3, but it cost them dearly, losing their 2 most important cores in the Storm and the Lycan. And they also spent the Ravage, and now EG looks like the pendulum's ready to swing the other way as they're rushing down mid on their own now.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was just the repel wearing off or it was just actually diffused yet again, and maybe he just didn't have his Lincoln's proc before he had the repel. I think it just faded, though. I feel like it just faded. I could be wrong. Either way, Storm Spirit was just playing way too cocky. He actually just got buyback as well, so if they want to buy back right now and just fight this, they better do it now. Actually, there's still backdoor protection working in the favor of CDEC. He's at 12 seconds. I imagine Storm doesn't buy back here. And in fact, if he's not going to buy back, Lycan probably shouldn't either.
Yep, racks go down for free. There are actually only a few seconds from a glyph there as well. And EG takes a free set of racks, so all right. CDEC had a good defense, then got a little, overconfident, and ends up giving a lot of it back.
Well, I will say if they do get the kill on the Fear, they're going to get a ton of gold. I mean, he's got his godlike streak. There's a refresher actually up on for Doom. So if you had problems with this Doom, you're going to have him even more so. He 100% needs to die before anything happens if CDEC want to actually win a fight. They are smoked up now. I don't know if CDEC sniffs it out, but this could, if they get a good initiation here with double Doom, this could be over.
Oh no, there's the Hex, and the Doom onto the Lycan. Lycan's not going anywhere.
No buyback.
Down for the count, as you said, no buyback. And EG ready to go grab the creeps and rush high ground. Love the fake back with the smoke. And looks like, barring a miracle, we're going to be headed for a game 3, my friend.
Yeah. Well, Tidehunter has Ravage in 20 seconds. Oh, they actually just picked up the Ags here from Witch Doctor. So if there is a good initiation here coming out from the Tidehunter, nope. Oh, he actually blinks away just in time from Universe. Blinks his arms up in the air, ready to get that Doom up.
Maybe looking to engage, bounces in, doesn't like to look, bounces back out. Bullet's already been used, now they're going straight on the racks.
Well, they gotta do something.
There's gonna be the Doom. Oh, 7. Blow to pieces, Omni Slash on point, and EG making it count. 7 comes back in with a good Ravage, but just the damage output too high. Maybe trying to track down Sumail. AUI's right there to help him out. But he does end up dropping nonetheless. He's going to try to grab Universe as well. Universe will go ahead and beat KB. And AUI will be getting caught with a pull. so they end up taking mid racks. They end up taking half of the racks in top. They got the melee racks at that. So CDEC in some trouble, but certainly not willing to tap out quite yet.
Yeah, it was nice, some nice counter punching, but the damage was already been done from EG. It just, Fierce is doing way too much damage. Like, they had the double Doom used from Universe, which is obviously great, but when he does not have double Doom, I think you 100% go for Fear, use everything on him, back up because you know he's going to have buyback because he's just that farmed right now. If not, if you know that double Doom is up, they cannot deal with even just one Doom, let alone two. They have to kill this Doom before he does anything. Of course, it's easier said than done, but if you want a chance to stay in this game, you have to eliminate that Doom factor.
Well, it looks like step one to trying to get this game back under control is going to be taking a run at the Roshan.
Not up.
Yep, not up yet. Still need about 60 seconds. Willing to bet they're going to hang around, though. EG, however, should be tipped off to it. Not a lot of mana for Fear right now. Any bark boots ready? Peter has his in 25. But they're going to be spotting this very quickly if they continue to play this patiently. The Lycan is just camped out in the pit. Now he will go ahead and bail out.
Yeah,
but about 30 seconds, all the time it's going to take.
I think Fear actually has enough for his butterfly and buyback. Nope, he doesn't. Okay, I'm totally off, actually. I always forget just how expensive the Talisman of Evasion is.
Yep.
I'm thinking, oh, quarterstaff, only 900 gold, but yeah, the Talisman of Evasion is a little bit hefty in its price. It's 1,800. I keep thinking it's 1,500 because it looks like the, or 1,600 because it looks like the Ghost Scepter.
Nope, there's Roche. They spot it, and they're going to send Sansheng on in. However, there's Universe. Gets the Doom off. And he's eating some right click here, but Fear's right behind him. They're going to go to work on me, slashing a beautiful Abyssal through it as well. And EG was just waiting on it. Really, didn't even look like it. They broke a sweat there.
Yeah, they're going for racks up top, and he's continuing to take structural damage from the top. They got to make something happen now.
Gonna jump on the Snowmail. Can they get it? Equalize there, a little slow. There's gonna be a nice 5-man Ravage again. 7 has really been making it count this time. The follow-up has just been a little lacking in a lot of cases. EG clears out from the Death Ward. Fear just going to town. Making it look easy. Universe has another Doom up and maybe actually toying with them a little bit. Not that it matters as Fear will take another Aegis. Cheese is on the ground. Who are you going to give it to? That'll be going to. No, it's actually the Aegis to Universe.
Yeah, look at their base. I mean, these are tying solely to creeps.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Oh my God.
Looks like this is one of those examples where CDEC is checked out on the game and just waiting for the bell. All over but the crying. And EG, facing elimination, finds themselves just moments away from making this best of 3 a best of 1. Ready to tie this series up? Yeah, but he's going to go straight to the Aegis. Here comes Navy. Going to try to contest it a bit. Don't know what he can do. Doom is out and just beautifully shot. Earth spike that time. Follow up with the Laguna Blade. And CDEC playing it out until the bitter end, and finally the GG is called. So Evil Geniuses, who came out looking a little less than sharp in their first series today, manages to bounce back and force this series to a Game 3 climax as the #1 seeds face off with one of these two teams set to pack it in and call their run in D2L over.